Hey guys, welcome to Podcast Fandom Premium. I'm your host Nina,
And I'm Kaylee.
and we are back to discuss Attack on Titan. Season 2 is finally here. Woo! Yes. So we're going to be talking about the first 3 episodes of season 2. Super excited about that. If you hear a noise in the background, like water running, that's because our AC went out the other day. And until our landlord can get somebody over here to fix it and figure out what the hell is going on, we are using smaller AC units in our rooms and fans. And so Kaylee's in her room and I'm in my room and she has her fan on. And if she turns it off, she's going to sweat to death.
hmm
And if you guys want my kid to be hot and uncomfortable, you're going to have to pay me more or pay her more. No, so hopefully it's not too distracting for you guys. If I put my unit on, it would just be a mess. So I'm willing
Yeah,
to
that one's really
suffer.
loud.
It's super loud. So I'm willing to suffer. I just recorded a solo podcast and I turned it off, but it was okay when you're by yourself because you can take breaks. So like at some point I just like stopped, turned it back on for a few minutes, read a book, read some part of a book, came back. But I won't be doing that now, but we won't I won't keep you too long, Kaylee, because I know you're probably is hot. Is it manageable though? Like, is it bearable? Are you okay?
Kind of like if I had turned it off, I would have want a drink, like a
Uh,
water.
okay. Well, hopefully I won't keep you too long. Okay, so season 2. Oh, FYI, that is why we did not do a video reaction to these episodes because the day that we watched them for the first time and would have recorded is when our AC went out. So we were watching it in here with that AC unit on and it was
hmm
super loud. And there's no way we could have done that. So
hmm
we're going to watch the next 3 episodes today and we're going to try to do it then. And I'm hoping like it'll be later in the day. So I don't know. Like, yeah, we'll see. Like, we won't put the AC unit on, of course, but like hopefully it won't be that hot so that we can
hmm
do it and it'll be okay. Okay, so what did you think of these episodes, Kaylee?
I'm so glad you asked because I've been dying to say. We're now getting into the part of this show that I haven't seen
Mm-hmm.
in the anime, at least because I've only read the manga, so I haven't seen these episodes animated. I think like a long time ago when season 2 first started, I watched at the very least the first episode, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that's it. I don't think I watched episode 2 or 3. So this is my first time seeing them, and I'm excited because it refreshed my memory, and so I know what's about to happen next. And I forgot it happened this early, so I'm super excited. I know you're gonna freak out. I really do hope we get to do live reaction recordings of us watching it because I know your reaction is gonna be great um, for these next 3 episodes. But I do want to say that I can already right away tell that there's a difference between the manga and the show. Just
Mm.
like a few minor things. Like
Mm-hmm.
like you said, when you're reading the manga, there's a lot of stuff that happens out of order,
Yeah.
different from how it happened in the anime. And there's still like that one scene that when you were reading the manga and like it was something you hadn't seen before, so you skipped over it.
Yeah.
And like that hasn't happened in the anime yet. I don't know when that's happening.
Mm.
But like in these episodes, I'm not gonna give too much detail because when you rewatch these episodes to take notes, I didn't watch them with you.
Right.
So I don't know if you like caught some things that you missed the first time around. We'll
Okay.
probably talk about it later. But there was, so I'm not going to say what it was, but there was a scene in one of these 3 episodes where there's like a conversation happening and we're only catching like the tail end of that conversation. But in the manga, when you see that conversation for the first time, you see the entire conversation. So
Ah,
I'm assuming in the anime, in these next episodes, we'll see that full conversation as like a flashback.
I know what you're talking about.
You do?
Yeah, because when I rewatched it for notes, there was something that happened that I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, and it was absolutely like the end of a conversation and then people were interrupted.
Yes.
Okay. Because I was like,
So,
what the fuck?
so
Okay.
I remember reading in the manga, like that whole conversation took place like
Uh-huh.
right away, and we saw all of
Yeah.
that. So I'm excited to see how it plays out in the anime. But that's all I wanted to say. I really enjoyed these episodes.
Okay. So listen. Listen, 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 listen. I said on a another podcast where I was like by myself that my brain, like when it comes to, I don't know if it's just because it's not like I ever stopped podcasting, but I definitely slowed down, right? And now that I'm doing it a lot more, and I'm like watching a lot more TV than I've watched in a while, I'm like, man, my ability to predict things is fucked up. Like every show we've watched, if you guys have been listening to everything we're doing, if you listen to Sweet Tooth, right, you know that I was just like completely wrong with my predictions there. Same thing with Shadow and Bone. But this, I feel like so far I've been pretty good. But I really have no reason because I've only been right about one thing. But I think so. I like realized when I was rewatching this, I was like, man, you are really, really feeling yourself because you were right about Annie. That don't mean shit about Reiner. So I'm watching these episodes and I'm like kind of doubting myself a little bit, but maybe not because I don't know. So we'll talk about it. But I've been dying to talk about this because there's so much. Okay, first of all, the new opening song, bang. Like, so much better than the 1B song. It sounds a lot like 1A.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why. Like, it's
I
like
think
a
that's
remix.
on purpose. Too.
Yeah, yeah. It sounds like it's like a remix of it. And it's like, especially because, like, if you look at, like, when the show started and where they are now, if if I remember correctly, like, the lyrics in the first one, it was like, "We are the hunters" or something like that. And now it makes sense that the song is still kind of militaristic, but also a bit more joyful because they are, for the first time, like strategically and militarily, militaristically, I don't know which was the right word, doing better than they ever have, right? Like they know a little bit more about Titans. They've defeated a lot of them, you know, they have one working with them. So I think the music kind of fits, but it does sound, you know, it's basically a remix of the first one, so I'm here for it. And the closing music, by the way, before anybody asks, I don't really pay as much attention to it because I'm always like, next episode. Or I'm like, turn it off before I get spoiled. Or Kaylee's like, turn it off before I get spoiled. So I don't really get to listen to the ending songs too much, but I did remember finally, like I was like halfway through season 1 before I finally listened to the end theme of 1B. And I was like, oh, this is different than I thought it would be. Like, it's so serene. I don't... Oh, the second one... No. Oh, yeah, the second one is the one you like.
Yeah.
The close of 1B. Yes.
Called Great Escape.
Right. So, like, that I liked. But I couldn't, like... I thought I could skip both the intro and outro in 1B, and you're like, no. You can skip the intro, but you gotta listen to this outro. But this outro for season 2 so far is weird. And I can't really place if I like it yet. I gotta hear it a few more times. So I just wanted to get that out of the way.
It's very unsettling.
Okay, so we are going to do the notes the way I have been doing them. I came up with this way for Motherland Fort Salem, and it works really well. And I just tried it for Beyond Evil, which the podcast for that, episode 7 and 8, just dropped. So, and I think it worked well. So I tried it for Attack on Titan. So basically, I just write a synopsis of like the main things that happened. And then I have a section of highlights, questions, and theories, and then like world building stuff, okay? And so hopefully we will get to everything. And because of that, sometimes it'll, like, we may talk about stuff a little out of order or whatever, but I think it'll be fine. Okay, so this first episode, you would not even let me see the title to this episode.
Because I completely forgot that this was even a thing. So when I saw the name of the first episode, I was like, oh god. I don't know.
How do you fucking... It's the same thing like when Eren showed up and you were like... You were saying the Armored Titan was your favorite? And I was like, oh, okay. And then Eren showed up, but I didn't know it was Eren at the time. And you were like, I'm like, how is this not your favorite? You're like, he is, but I couldn't say it then. And so now, like, how do you forget the Beast Titan?
I don't know. It's been years since I read the manga.
That's
all right?
true. Okay.
But
I don't like the Beast Titan, by the way. Fuck him.
Yeah, he's creepy.
Yeah.
But I saw the name of the episode and I'm like, oh god. And like the thing is, I don't think I forgot about him. I just didn't realize he would appear in the very first episode. So I wasn't expecting him so soon. So I was like, oh, goodness. I was kind of unprepared. And I was, like, rushing to make sure you and Daddy weren't looking at the name of the episode. Because, like, obviously, I guess it's like the same thing with the female Titan. Like when you look at it, you're like female Titan, and you see it, and you're like, I guess there's a female Titan, and you look at the word beast Titan, and you're like, what does that mean? Is there a new Titan that looks like a beast?
Yeah.
And like, I didn't want you to know that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I wanted
Good.
you to be surprised right off the bat.
I feel like somebody, I think it was Antonio, when I was asking about season 4, because if you notice, season 4 is not on the schedule, like the episodes, because I didn't know the breakdown, like how we would cover it. And I asked for suggestions because my friend Katoria, who helped us doing the first 3 seasons, she's super busy right now. So I was like, I'm not going to bug her and ask her. So I asked other people for free labor. I was like, hey, can y'all tell me? No, because if I did it on my own, y'all would have a fit, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all yell at me every fucking time. Like, I do gifts in the group, and people are like, how are you getting those gifts? What are you typing for those gifts?
I feel a little shook too when you start searching for stuff.
And I try to tell y'all, like, when I type Attack on Titan as the GIF in Facebook, you guys go do it. You go do it and see if you disagree. Like, I only scroll down through, like, the first few. They're not spoilers. It's, like, either shit I've already seen or the opening or, like, fan-made stuff.
But it could be. It could be spoilers. Could be. You don't know that.
Okay. All right, I'll stop.
Never know what'll pop up.
Although I don't know what it was. Like, do you remember, so the other day I wanted a picture for the podcast, and I'm not allowed to search for my own pictures anymore because, again, spoilers, and you guys are fucking having a fit. So I started typing to look for this photo, like, then I remembered, and I was like, oh, so I sent you a message, right? And I was like, come here. And then you were like, I'm doing something, whatever. So I was like, oh, she could just look it up downstairs and send it to me. So I wrote you, and I was like, I need a picture for the season finale episodes for the podcast. And then I said specifically, I want that picture of Mikasa on Annie's face. And you found it like right away. I was like, yeah. I don't know. Like if I wanted that for the first thing I would have done was search Attack on Titan season 1 episode 25. And I'm assuming pictures from the episode would have shown up, but I just have a feeling that wouldn't have been one of them. Because I had a hard time.
It was kind of hard to find.
I was just going to say, like, how did you find it? Because I feel like I would have, like, gotten spoiled for all 4 seasons if I tried to look for that picture.
I mean, I think I typed in the name of the episode at first and I couldn't find it. Mm-hmm. And then I typed, like, the names of the characters, Annie and Mikasa, as well as, like, season 1. And I think, like, at first I just found fan art. I found, there's like one really cool fan art of Annie as a Titan climbing the wall, and someone drew Mikasa cutting, like, right as she cut off her fingers. Mm-hmm. I was like, wow, that's a really cool drawing. And I almost sent it to you. Like, I wanted to send it to you, but I forgot, so I could probably look for it again. But I just kind of, like, I looked at that image, and then I looked at, like, the recommended, or, like, similar related images. Related images. And then I think I found it through there.
Oh, that's awesome. So, anyway, but do you remember I asked you to look up something? I cannot remember what it was. And, like, you started looking it up, and you were like, see? You would have been spoiled, because there was, like, you said there was a spoiler, like, right away.
Yeah.
Do you remember what the spoiler was?
It was something related to the Armored Titan.
Was it, like, it was Reiner all along? Oh, you did you watch WandaVision?
No.
Oh, it's so good.
But I know what you're referencing because you showed me something. Yeah.
Yeah, Agatha all along. Yeah. So is that what it was? Was it telling me that I'm right? You gonna tell me?
It was revealing who the Armored Titan was.
Ah, okay. Oh, so I'm glad I didn't look. But anyway, but yeah, you wouldn't let me know the title. But anyway, I asked for help doing season 4, and Antonio came back, and then I think Anine did as well. But the difference is, and their breakdown is basically the same, except she has us, like, for instance, she recommends we watch episodes 4 and 5, I think, together, for season 4, whereas he says watch episodes 4, 5, and 6. So it's twice where she recommends we just watch 2 episodes while he says to watch 3. I think it's like 3 all the way through for him almost. But he specifically said, do not look at the episode title for episode 6. So it has just been in my head, season 4, episode 6, season 4, episode 6. Do not look at the title.
For season 4?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was season 2.
I think that now season 2, episode 6 is one that I think people want like it was one of, they were like, you have to record it, like video reaction. So I figured something good's gonna, like it's a good episode, or something bad's gonna, who knows. Something big happens, but I'm pretty sure it was 4-6 that he said don't look at the title. And like old Nina would have googled that shit right away, because don't tell me what to do. But new mature Nina, who doesn't like to ruin things for herself, uh will avoid. Okay, so Beast Titan. So the synopsis I have: Hanji questions the cultists about the Wall Titan because apparently those motherfuckers know.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, I mean, they were like, "Oh, look, what's this?" Like everybody was like, "What the fuck is that?" And the eyeball moved. What the
Yeah.
fuck? You didn't tell me that. So
I
he's
thought you caught that the first
no, no,
time around.
no. Like I didn't know it was still alive, which you wouldn't have told me at the end of season 1, but still. Cause I
I thought you saw that. Well, I mean, you
and
saw the eyeball move in season 2.
right in
We
season
didn't
1
see
it
that.
didn't, but I
Yeah.
feel like I thought it was dead, and you let me think it was dead.
I didn't know you thought it was dead.
Well, I think I thought it was dead, but either way, the eyeball moved, and that motherfucker came running up out of breath. He's like, I was like, we gonna fucking die waiting for you to get it out. He's like, whatever you do, don't let sunlight touch it. I'm just like, motherfucker, you knew? And then they like dangle him over the roof, like over the ledge of the wall. But he's not telling. He took an oath, his religion. He's like those homophobes. My religion says I can't make gay wedding cakes. Just full of shit. So he's like, I can't tell you what's going on with that. So they get word, like, as Hanji is about to murder this man, but then Hanji was like, nah, actually, I was just kidding. And I was like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I can't call it really what was going to happen.
I think Hanji just thought it was pointless.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they totally would have done it, but
Yes.
they were like, well, there's no point.
Yeah, right. Because we go get another priest. They not gonna talk. Like, they were like, these motherfuckers are religious. Okay. But somebody rushes in, Tomas, and I saw his name in the closed caption, and I remember being like, oh, like Thomas, poor Thomas. From episode, what was it, 5?
Yeah.
So Tomas rushes in, and he's like, the south wall has been breached. Rose wall. Bleh. Wall Rose has been breached. And we're like, what? Like, y'all can't catch, because this is, remember I said I thought there'd be a time jump? Nope.
Mm-hmm.
This is like a literally the moment after they cart Annie's crystallized ass off. Shit hits the fan. So then it rewinds 12 hours. So we're getting what was going down prior to the Stowe Hess mission, prior to Aaron, and them trying to trap Annie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we go 12 hours back, and you pointed this out, which I thought was really cool. When they get word, so they're at the scouts are at their castle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they get word that they're talking, and they're like not sure why they have to like stay there, and there's so much guards, right? Like, I think it's Reiner who's like, the higher ups are armed to the teeth. Why? Mm-hmm. Like, and it's because they suspect that there could be more Titans in that 104 core, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, but of course they don't know that, like the core unit, right? The cadets, or, well, they're not cadets anymore, the scouts. And so I think Sasha's hungry. I don't know. She lays her head on the table.
She seems like a mix of bored and hungry.
Yeah. And she can hear the Titan's footsteps. Now, I had a theory about Sasha and Mickey, is that his name? Because they are both written very animalistic. Like,
oh yeah,
this shit with him being able to smell Titans, and her hearing is really good. And I don't know if they ever, and we probably never will now, explain why Mickey was the way that he was. But it just feels like, okay, you could maybe think that's because she's a hunter, like a literal hunter, like had to hunt for her own food and stuff, living out in the mountains. And so maybe, she just has really good senses and is, tuned into stuff like that. But that was fucking frightening, where she was just like, there are Titans coming. Like, I hear footsteps. And because we know it's real, because we know that the guy is going to come rushing, to
Mm-hmm.
Wall Senna to be like, oh, look what happened. But yeah, she hears the Titans, and that was terrifying. But here's something that's interesting. This is what I noticed when I went back with my notes. When I'm checking off the stuff I already talked about. Okay. When they're like the south wall. Oh, who comes to the window? Is it Nananda? Was that her name?
Nanaba?
Nanaba. Is that her name?
I think so.
Yeah, Nanaba. She comes to the window like a fucking badass. And she's like, Titans are coming. They done breached the south wall. Fucking, what's his name? Reiner? Sorry, there's a plane going by. Reiner looks at Bertholdt, or at least Bertholdt's in the shot, and Reiner's like, did they breach the, like, they didn't tell us that. Like, we didn't know that was the plan today, because he's the feds. Especially because we know the wall wasn't breached. So he was, why was he so shocked? Like, everybody else was shocked, like, what? We're gonna die. He was like, that don't sound right. Also, why are he and Bertholdt dressed like H&M models? Why?
I love their outfits. They look nice.
They look nice, but why? These niggas got on polos and cardigans and like slacks with dockers with creases in it and fucking, what the fuck? Why do they look like that? Looking like the feds. So Mike is in charge, and he sends Tomas to go tell Erwin and let everybody know what's going on. And then they head out to break up into 4 squads, and they're going to the settlements that are near the wall to like evacuate people and warn them, right? Because there's all these villages. And then they want to go along the wall to figure out where the breach came from, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as they are leaving, this is where we understand, like, geographically where we are. We're very close to where Connie's from. We're very close to where Sasha's from. In fact, Connie, his village is directly to the south of their location, which is where they're saying the Titans are coming from.
Mm-hmm.
So Reiner, with his fed ass, not fat, fed. He's fed. He's like, I'll take you. I'm like, why are you like? And then he says to Bertholdt, you're coming, right? He's like, I wouldn't miss it. I'm like, you motherfuckers is the feds. Why are they so suspicious, Kaylee? So they get to Connie's village. It's destroyed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do they get there in this episode?
No, that's like the second episode.
I'm sorry. Hold on. My bad. I wrote this too fast.
You didn't even go over the Beast Titan yet.
No, not yet. So hold on a second. So they split up, and then it's the Beast Titan who goes like directly south, right? And they're all like, because there are these fucking, what are they? Regular Titans, right? Like just standing around at first, and then they start running and spinning. And why? What the fuck? Did he tell them to frolic? Like, what did he say? What did the Beast Titan say to make them do that? Like, I'm so confused with this show. I don't.
It's like, because like the Beast Titan wasn't there, or at least like we didn't see him there when they started doing that.
But
so
he was
like,
I think we're to assume he was behind them though.
Yeah. So,
and that's why they stopped. Like
whether he said anything or not, like, do you think he like could have communicated with them like telepathically?
I don't know, but we've seen him communicate with them verbally.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. I just know that from our POV, it just looks like they were just like he was just standing there, and then they just went off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm saying. I want to know what was his command. Was he like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, spin and jump? I don't know. It was really weird. So fucking Mike, we learn he's the second only to Levi.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, he gonna put in some work, and he did, but like, I don't like this. So he takes out, and it's like 9 Titans total, right? And he takes out all but 4, right? And he's like, and like, because he had to leave his horse, obviously, to use his Omni gear. I call it Omni gear, but what does it really call? OMD gear? Whatever. It's omnidirectional, whatever.
Omnidirectional. I call it 3D maneuver gear because that's what they call it in the manga.
Oh, I'm calling it Omni gear,
So
y'all.
that's what I'm used to calling it.
And I know it's wrong, but that's what I'm calling it. So, he had to leave his horse, and so when he's like up top of the roof, like he looks over and there's the one guy leaning against the tree, like a pervert at the bus stop. Like, how
It's
you
like he's
doing,
trying to
miss?
flirt.
Yeah, how you doing, miss? What's your name? You got a boyfriend? You should smile more. Oh, fucking street harassing Titan. So that was weird. And then when the camera like pulls back, you get like this overhead shot of like the whole situation. There's like a little one like clutching the side of the building. Like, oh, they're so weird. I hate them.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, I like this though, because he's like, you know what? I did enough work, right? No need to take the risk. I'm gonna whistle for my horse. I'm just, And so he whistles for his horse because I like this. He was like, I don't need to like do too much. I don't need to like die out here. I don't need to put in some work. And his horse comes running, and then he sees that Beast Titan walk in, and he wasn't as like, what the fuck as I thought he should have been. Like, he was like, that one is weird, and I'm gonna keep my eye on him. And I'm like, really? Because I've never seen anything like this, and I don't understand why you're just like, what the fuck is that? But when he goes to fucking whistle for his horse, tell everybody what I did.
Oh my god, I forgot about this. He like brought his hand up to his mouth, and you let up this loud gasp because you're like, and then you started whistling, and you're like, oh, I thought he was about to turn into a Titan.
I thought that nigga was about to bite his hand, Kaylee. I'm not even kidding. Because he was talking, like he was looked around, and and again, like rewatching and understanding exactly like what was going on. But at the time, like it looked like he was looking around like, oh, I'm surrounded. And then he saw that beast, and he was like, I don't know what the fuck that's about. So let me, like it's safe. I can turn here because nobody. And he brought his hand up to his mouth. And I was like, ah! Like, it was the most dramatic gasp because I legit thought this motherfucker was about to turn. And I was like, I can't believe I was so wrong. Because I thought he was going to be like one of those Titans.
Like the armor Titan?
Yes! Because he's weird. But anyway, so this motherfucker picks up the horse. The Beast Titan picks up Mike's horse. Mike's horse, which is on its way, right? I think it's Mike. But it's
I thought
Miche.
It's like, I thought it was Miche, and this entire time I thought it was Mike, but I think it's Miche.
Oh, okay. Well, Miche is dodging his own fucking horse when he like falls off the roof and like right into the hands of like that little gross one with the big eyes. And I'm like, no, please. I'm so like this. I feel like if we had done a video reaction to this, like, y'all would have seen me freaking out, obviously, by the Beast Titan, what happens next. But, like, you would have seen me for the first time an episode end and me just not be happy with it. Like, I was really upset. Mm-hmm. And I'll explain it in a second. But, so he bites him, like, his leg. And I'm like, oh, okay, like, he can maybe survive this. All right. And it stopped, and I heard something, but I wasn't sure what I heard. Like, right before he. And then the Beast Titan walks up, and he does the squat, and the thing goes and bites him again, and then that's when the Beast Titan is like, I guess you didn't hear me the first time. I said, wait. And I was like, what the fuck? Did you know they can talk? Like, did you remember this?
I remembered that the Beast Titan could talk, yeah.
So is this just so I'm assuming that he's like older because well, that doesn't mean anything because they got Armin out here sounding like
Aaron.
They got Aaron. They got Levi. Levi looked 12, sound 45. So I don't know, but it sounds like an older voice, and it makes me wonder. And this isn't in my notes. Like this literally just popped in my head. It makes me wonder if that's why he can talk, because you know how Annie can do stuff Aaron can't do, but Annie was clearly trained to do what she does. So It's like that like how I get frustrated with Eren, where it's just like, when are y'all gonna let him learn to like what he can do as a Titan? And I get it, because
Hmm.
shit keeps happening, but so it makes me wonder if whoever is in the Beast Titan is like older, and also like maybe never, like not from where they live, because I said this on the last podcast, right? Like my theory that there's another or other civilizations out there, and clearly where this guy is from, this Beast Titan, he doesn't know about the Omni Gear.
Hmm.
Because he's like, what's that fancy contraption doohickey thingy?
It's weird because like the way he talks is very sophisticated too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He's like, I'm pretty sure we speak the same language. Mm-hmm.
So he's like very well educated,
And poor,
just not on like
yeah.
the society in the walls at least.
Mm-hmm. And Miche is so fucking shook, like he cannot even talk. Like he's just like not talking, and so the guy's like, "Fine, I'll just take it back with me." And then he picks up the gear and like he starts to walk away. And Miche is remembering like what he told his people about like never giving up and fighting, like the same shit that Eren says when he needs to like, the power was in you all along. Click your heels 3 times. Come on, let's do it. And I'm like, no, dude, he's leaving you. Like you need to limp your ass away quietly, do what you gotta do. But he picks up his sword and he's like, ah! And then the Beast Titan is like, oh, you can move now. And then they eat him. And this was just gratuitous. This was unnecessarily.
Yeah, so unnecessary. I don't like because I don't know. Again, I saw this episode a long time ago, but I
Mhm.
mostly remember the manga. I don't remember it being like this much in the manga. Maybe it was. I don't know, but it was. Oof.
Mhm. And like, I don't know. I like this character. I don't know why why can't you kill some of these characters I don't know about? Like Gelgar. Who the fuck is that with his pompadour hair? He got that swoopy poopy, looking like Frankie Valli, like Buddy Holly. Anyway, the last thing I have about this encounter is the Beast Titan has gold eyes. So I don't know if that means anything, because I think that we've seen that the Titans that are controlled by humans, like they have the same eyes, right, as
Yeah,
the
so
person
far.
controlling them. Yeah. So he has like gold colored eyes, which is the same as Connie and one other person.
Well, we already came like because he doesn't know about the 3D gear, omnidirectional gear. We assume he's like someone we don't even know.
Oh, that's true.
So like someone
But we
like you
don't
said, you.
know. We don't know Connie's dad, and clearly Connie's whole family in town is fucking Titans. I don't know. Yeah, you're right.
But that
So,
seems recent. His town being
yeah.
Titans.
Do you think this person, like when he says, "Oh, and you use swords," so that means we reside in the neck?
Hmm.
So I'm like, and I think you and I talked about this. Like, do you think he comes out of that? He
Like
has to,
he ever
right?
stops being the Beast Titan and
Yeah.
goes to, like from. I don't know. I was thinking about that. Like I don't know. I think I brought this up when we were watching it. Like I don't know
Hmm.
if he's just out there living life as a Beast Titan or if he ever stops and returns to being like a human.
But he ain't got
But
no booty hole. So how are you like existing? How are you eating and sustaining yourself and then pooping out the waste?
well, they
What? I'm like,
they clarify Titans don't need to eat. They can go 100 years without eating.
so there's a human in his membrane spinal region neck part. That human don't need to come out and eat.
I don't know.
Hmm.
Maybe not. Maybe he's evolved.
If a beast titan shits in the woods,
And no one's around to hear it.
does it smell? That makes sense. All right. Mikasa also is a badass. We learned in this episode she can sleep sitting up. And then Hanji begins to wonder if Eren can crystallize and seal the wall, but they don't really say that to anybody else. This is just something they're thinking to themselves, because a piece of the crystal that what's her face, Annie, left behind or whatever. Hanji thinks that it might be the same material that the walls are made out of. And Armin expands upon that in the next episode, which is I'm home. Oh my god, this is another one. Oh, so just so you guys know what I meant about like being upset and not liking it, like I was just over it. I just felt like we need a win. Like Annie was a little bit of a win, but not 100%. Like she didn't get away. She didn't get to like kill anybody else that we care about yet. But like we didn't really get any answers.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, and so now this happens and it's like, wow, all this terrible shit is happening. And then you meet this character like or you get a better look at this character who's clearly competent and awesome and good and people like him and then not only do you kill him, but like you kill him in the worst fucking way. It's so gratuitously violent and sad and terrible. And this is the only motherfucker know these motherfuckers can talk.
Yeah, so they don't.
Yeah.
There's no one to report what happened.
It's just fucking sad. Anyway. All right. So I'm home. Synopsis. Sasha returns home and faces a Titan and her past. Sasha goes home, because they get to the point where like they're gonna split up to go to different settlements and warn people, and she's like, "This my settlement is like up ahead," and whoever was like leading her, I forget the person's, I don't know which one it was, but one of the senior scout members was like, "Okay, you go do that and like warn everybody, and then we'll meet up because they still got to check the wall, right?" And when she goes home, it's deserted except
Well,
for
it's not her actual village. She said it's a village that was close to where she lives in the forest.
oh, that's not where she lived.
No, she said it. The guy who was like talking with her before they split up, she was like, "It's not my village, but I know the village."
Oh, okay. So then why was she like afterwards when she's like, how long has it been? 3 years? I wonder if he's still. Oh, wait a
It was like,
second.
yeah, when she came across it, she's like, "When did this get here?"
Okay, you
The
know what
village
it
was never.
is? I know, I get it now. So when they had the flashback to her and her father, which I love so much because it again with like world building, it just told
Mhm.
us so much. But we learned that because the first wall was breached, like so in those 5 years, all of those people that were displaced and like were pushed in, we knew that caused like food shortage, housing shortage, and all that. But he was saying how they had to tear down forest land to start using it for farming
Yeah.
to increase the food, and food became scarce for the people who lived in that region as it became scarce for everybody. And so Sasha was like, this is why I'm always hungry, because like we're struggling, and why do we have to like share with people? And he's like, those people lost their homes, and she's like, that's their fault for losing their homes. I was like, damn girl. Also, she was mad southern. Okay.
Yeah. She had an accent.
Woo, Lord Jesus. My girl was like Dolly Parton out in the woods. And then she went to basic camp. And she was just like, I'm Sasha Browse. And I got home. She was like, I'm Sasha Browse. Hey, y'all. But, yeah, so she was like, fuck them, fuck they kids, and give me my potatoes. And the dad was like, where did I go wrong? How did I reach you better than this? So basically, she's like, we just need to stay out here and scrap and live the way we've been living. But he was like, no, maybe it's time to like go out and like help these people and like work together for the greater good. And that's when he told her, if you're going to live out here, you have to be prepared to die out here then, like that way. So that's what it was. He went to like that place and she was like, when did this get here? That I thought she was talking about the bridge. Like
Mm.
I thought she was like, when did, but I think that's the in the 5 years, that's the resettlement village that was built. So
Mm.
this was like like her father went there with like refuge. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so that's why. But now what I don't know is then I don't know, it's not clear to me. Why did she leave the woods to join the cadet thing? Because she said she's been gone for 3 years, and we know that's true, right? Like,
Mhm.
so she lived out there for 2 years after the wall was breached, like going hungry and suffering and stuff, right? Like the rest of the world.
Mhm.
And then 3 years, then she went into the cadets, or she went into training, and then it's now been 3 years. So I'm just wondering, like, what caused her to do that?
I
Like,
don't know.
change her mind and like
Probably to just live a better life and have more food, I think.
I love her. I swear to God, she dies. So, like, she goes into this house, and this Titan is eating this woman, and this was the most disturbing thing. There's
It
certain,
was so disturbing because of the size of the Titan, I think.
like, first of all, he was in the house.
Mhm.
Like, what? These niggas is, like, ducking down to get through the door. cross thresholds, like, and he's eating this woman, and it makes it like worse later when the kid says something about the mom. Everybody in the village knew that this woman had bad legs. They're like, her knees are bad. That would be me, by the way. I'd be the woman in the village with I have bad knees. They're like, oh, they just left Miss Nina. Nobody, because that's what they call you when you get that old too, right? Like, I'd be the old lady in the village with the bad knees and the beard. Because the day I stop waxing, y'all, that's the kind of old lady I'm going to be. I'm going to be the one with the beard that the kids point at in the supermarket. But yeah, she was like, they knew my mom knees was bad and they left her here. And he was eating her legs.
Mm-hmm.
Let me find out your ailment is your taste the best. Can you imagine?
That's terrible.
Can you imagine if that's a thing? Like, between Titans, like, if the person has an ailment on that, like, whatever their ailment is, that part of their body tastes the best.
Gross.
Mm-hmm. My knees must taste amazing. So, yeah, this was so bad. And then Sasha tries to, like, chop its neck, but the axe isn't strong enough to, like, get the spot that she needs, but it's, like, hurting him, but it's, like, healing, right? Mm-hmm. And so she just takes the little girl and runs, and it chases them, and she grabs, like, well, first I was so frustrated because when they were by the horse and she was like, I'm gonna take you, and and the horse ran off. I was like, Sasha, why'd you let go of the reins? Why are you so loud? Just put this little girl ass on I don't even know why you're talking to her. Throw her little ass on that horse and let's go. You explain it way too much. She'll need all this information. Does she want to die? Does she want to get eaten, or does she want to leave? Put her little ass on the horse. But the horse runs away, and she I just love her presence of mind. Like, she grabs, like, the bow and several arrows, and they run off, and she realizes that she needs to get it in the eyes to, like, slow it down to buy them time, right, to get away. And she gets up on this, like, ridge so that she's higher, and she only has 2 arrows left, and she gets one eye, but then she decides to, like hand to hand that shit. Like, she takes the arrow.
She didn't want to take the risk of missing.
And you know what I noticed? When she's fighting her dad for the food, like, if there is anybody listening to this who does not watch it, like, you're just listening to us talk about it, I know that's going to sound crazy, but I'm not kidding. When we get that flashback, she is literally scrapping with her dad, like, fisticuffs over something. It's some meat that they were, like, trying to cure and save for the winter or some shit, and she was not having it. And he has, like, her arm up and she's down, and her hand is, like, under his chin. She does that what she does to get away from that Titan later in the episode is how she gets away from her dad. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
She, like, uppercuts his chin with her hand. But she's so bad, and this is what I was waiting for. Did you remember that this was going to happen?
What?
This whole thing with Sasha, like, going home and taking on this Titan by herself.
Yeah, I mean, I remembered it, like, last minute, like, when she arrived. I'm like, oh, yeah. And, like, I saw the Titan crouching in the doorway of that house. I'm like, oh, yeah, all this happened. I was, like, what stood out to me the most from my memory was, like, the thing with Connie in his village.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I was mainly looking forward to.
The reason I ask is because I remember a few episodes ago when, like, she fucked up again, and I was like, oh, when she dropped the flare. Mm-hmm. In the female Titan episode. And I was like, is she ever gonna, like, go back to being the badass that ran down the wall and saved Samuel? Because I feel like they showed in the episode 3 or episode 4 where we saw them. Remember when he gave us the recap and he was like, Armin Artlet, built like a daffodil. Connie Springer, stupid. So then, like, you saw that Jean knew that he wouldn't be, like, the strongest or whatever, so he's like, I need to find a Titan first. But then Connie was clocking him and went to take his kill, but then Sasha smarter than both of them and took the points. Like, that and saving Samuel, it shows that she's fucking capable, right? And I say she has good instincts, but I was like, I feel like they don't show that enough. So I was glad that she got this. Like, her instincts told her she could do that. She could take him out. Like, I might miss this way, but I can do this. So I don't know. I just love that. But then after that she's reunited with her dad, right?
Mm-hmm. Which I don't remember her seeing her dad. Like I didn't. That was a surprise to me. Like I didn't know if he was dead or alive.
Like it's so funny too because they're like scenes in movies when two cars pass each other and the drivers look at each other like, oh shit, where you going? Where you going? And I really like her dad.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just thought he was really awesome. I have that in my notes. So, another thing we get is a flashback when she is on her way to take care, like to go search this town or whatever, warn these people of Ymir. So we finally know her name, right?
Yeah.
Is it Ymir or Ymir?
Emir.
Ymir. Ymir.
Emir. Like I guess it's like more of an sound. Emir.
Ymir. That's ridiculous. Why are you doing this? Why can't I just say these shits the way they spell?
I used to say Ymir. Like I've always said Ymir. Then I said in the show, and I'm like, all right, Emir, because I know there's like another name, like the name Yvonne, but it's spelled Yvonne. I always said Yvonne, but it's pronounced Yvonne.
Oh, okay. So, Amir and Krista, and it's like Amir is giving Sasha a hard time about always being nice and accusing her basically of like being fake and just being herself and whatever. And that is like a big thing that kind of got Sasha through what she ends up doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she does kind of revert back to that, starved animal in the woods mentality, like survive at any cost to get away from that Titan. And I just like that it was that motivation and that random memory with those two that did it for her, especially because I'm so curious about Amir. Like,
Mm-hmm.
all right, so, oh, and then in terms of world building, Armin and Hanji figure out the wall is made of Titan material, but the priest still ain't talking, even though Levi's like, motherfucker, I will shoot you. I'll put a hole right through you. But he ain't telling. He's not telling. So, season 2, episode 3, Southwestward. Connie returns to his abandoned hometown. Listen.
Well, I before we move on to this episode, I want to point out I like how different the experience between Sasha and Connie was in the second episode, I'm Home, because like Sasha returns home and she finds her dad again, and then Connie returns home and
he found his mom. He did.
Yeah.
That's his mom.
It's just two very different things, and I like when Sasha's like with her dad, she says I'm home, like she says that.
Mm-hmm.
Or something like that. And but like when Connie like arrives back in his village and he sees no one's there, he's like screaming, "Hey, I'm back home. Is anybody still here?" It's like two very different things.
Yeah. He says, "I have returned home." And it's like crickets. So, his village became Titans, right? Those are the Titans.
Yeah, I'm convinced.
Yeah, because there's no breach in the wall, we find out later. They came directly from that village, that area. It had to be them. And there's no blood and carnage. And they're like, why would Titans break apart empty houses?
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't. They busted out of those houses. So now my question is, was Donnie right? And is Erin's raggedy ass daddy running around poking people with his Titan juice? What's happening? And why now? Like, what is happening? So wait a minute. Did the Beast Titan do that?
Turn that village into Titans? I don't know, maybe.
Oh my God, that makes sense.
It does. Because he can control, those are the same Titans that he's been talking to and
talk,
controlling.
yes. So I'm wondering if in his human form, he went and injected those people or gave them something and did something to them. Because Connie's mother, I'm assuming that's who that is, looks like she was on her back and like changed that way. And did she like you get what I mean? Like what or is it
like in her sleep?
Yeah, like, and then because when she was lying there and they were like it can't move, and they were like, not with those legs. The legs are super skinny.
Yeah, the legs and the arms.
So I couldn't understand. It's like, is it impaled on something? Like, why can't it get up? And like, why is it even in that position? So did it fall back, or was she already on her back when she went to turn? And it's making me wonder if they were asleep.
Hmm.
So if you do something
I
that's time sensitive, like if they ate something and then they, in the middle of the night they turned, or if they were sleeping and he just went around and was like pulling a what's his name, Grisha, with his
yeah.
Titan juice. That's what I'm calling it from now on, Titan juice.
I have a theory.
I want to hear it.
Okay, okay. I don't know if I should say it now or wait till we're like done with like at the talking about the episode.
No, no,
I
no.
guess
Go ahead. Go ahead.
okay. So we talked about how the identity of the Beast Titan is probably someone outside the walls because they don't know
Right.
about like the 3D, like what's it called.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think the average citizen in the walls who is not part of the military would know what that equipment is called?
Yeah, because like you know what guns are called and batons are like what your local law enforcement what their gear is.
I guess. Because
You
I was gonna
know.
say, like, it could still be technically someone from in the walls if they just don't know much about the military.
That's true too, because they are like super rural and
Hmm.
detached. Like I don't know what. Yeah, that makes sense. Like I don't know what those people know about. But then again, no, because wouldn't like the scouts and stuff like they've seen those people before, right? Like don't they pass through those villages when they're like doing shit and going places or no?
Yeah, but they still wouldn't know like the details of their
Yeah, okay.
gear.
He's
So
like,
I'm like
what?
wondering.
Hmm.
I guess I was like thinking maybe the Beast Titan could be Aaron's dad, but I guess Aaron's dad would still at least know what all that stuff is. Maybe
Yeah,
he's just
yeah,
a doctor.
yeah. What color is his eyes? Are they that color?
I don't remember.
Are they a goldish color? Um, So while they're out searching, oh wait, let me go back to the synopsis. Hanji makes a discovery about the wall, which is again that it is, it has titans. And what you and I were talking about when we were watching this with Daddy the first time is that it seems like they're like pillars,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's like wall space. The titans are in the wall space, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the material is like nearly indestructible. And I think it's in this episode. Well, it has to be this episode because it's the last one we watched, where Armin was like, you can't even really tell what this material is, how it's formed. You know what I mean? Like how it was manipulated. There's no cracks or seams to even show how the wall was constructed. And I'm like, how?
Mm-hmm.
How many years has it been? You motherfuckers don't know. Like, this is the first time anybody's like, this wall looks weird. It's not constructed like anything else in this entire universe. Like, okay. But yeah, and this is the part that's frustrating because it's like, what if Aaron can use his hardening thing to do da? And I'm like, how do you even know he could do that? Have we talked about the fact that he turned into a fireball when he took Andy's head off? Like, he looked completely different then. Like, is he fire? Is she ice? Like, do they all have something? What is the armored titan? He's just hair.
Rock.
He's a chia pet. Ah, oh my God. Are they
Earth.
elemental? But
I don't
wait a minute.
know.
What would the colossal titan be?
Oh, we've only seen them like twice.
And I'm convinced that the colossal titan and Bertholdt have the same nose, by the way. I can't remember if I ever said that on the podcast, but I told that to Kaylee
I
the
don't
other
think
day.
you said it on the podcast, but yeah, you definitely told it to me.
Because I feel like, too, we've seen a lot of Bertholdt's face in these episodes. So I feel
Yeah,
like,
he's getting more screen time.
right?
I've noticed.
Because I was like, he's cute, too. He got that
Yeah, and
little
I like
purple
his voice
nose.
actor. He's
Yeah.
Todoroki's voice. I remember, like, I think I wanted to point it out. I find it hilarious. Like, we were done with season one, and you were, like, starting to get sus of Bertold again. I'm like, I find it hilarious how you're getting sus of this guy who's had, like, 2 minutes maybe worth of screen time out of this
Only
entire
I'm
first season.
but okay, but I just want to say because I feel like I feel like I'm most likely wrong and you guys are going to like clown me. So I feel like I need to defend myself. Again, his story was sus. He's like, and then I saw Titan, it was all everything went dark. You should have been dead. That make no sense. And then he was getting all excited. And fucking Reiner was like, settle down. Because he's like, don't tighten out here. We're undercover. I don't know. That's his buddy. That's why he's sus. He's sus because of Reiner. And then the other stuff just, I make it fit. My theory. So let's see. Armin comes up with another plan. Wait, I forgot the other plan. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That they could take him to Walmaria and use him to seal up that, like to get that wall back. Like, and then they could travel in the dead of night when the Titans don't move. But they do move at night when the Beast Titan is like, wake the fuck up. Let's go eat. Let's go kill people. So then the Titans surround the crew as they meet up and they realize, oh, the two groups, like Bertholdt's group and who's in the other group?
Wait, did we talk about that scene of Emir and
No,
Krista
we're
talking?
getting there. We are.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
remember
yeah.
like when that happened.
I'm just doing the synopsis first, and then the other stuff is like the details.
Oh,
But
okay.
they meet up with Amir and what's her name? Krista's group, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they discover like none of us saw any cracks, and it's dark, so like maybe we missed something. But I'm like, if it's a breach big enough to let these motherfuckers in, you're not gonna miss it. There's probably gonna be more, like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, oh, there's no breach, and then they're like, I sure wish we could see. And then the fucking clouds move, and the moon just like illuminates the entire fucking forest. I'm like, that's fortunate. And they see like an abandoned castle, so they head to that, and they're like, we're just gonna bunker down here and stay the night. But then the Beast Titan wakes up all those other Titans again, and they are going straight forward, and he's basically using them so that he can go. He climbs the wall, right? So he's going from Rose into the inner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like inside of Walrose, I think.
Yeah. So, and then don't worry, we're getting there. Just still the synopsis. When Levi and his team with Aaron and them break up, he gives them instructions, and he's like, Erwin put us together for a reason, because it's like Armin and Mikasa and Aaron, and he's like, but it's funny because like I can't remember. Like, I know they're splitting up and they have like these different tasks, but they're not telling us 100% because I'm guessing, it's supposed to be a surprise because this is like an Irwin plan, I guess. But when he's giving them directions, he's like, Hanji and Armin, you two are super smart. Put those brains together and figure something out. And I'm like, that's not a plan. Think of something to do is not a plan.
It's the start of one.
I guess. But I just thought that was funny. And then to Mikasa, he was like, and you just protect him. I don't know why you like him, but just clearly you're ready to die for this motherfucker. So do that if necessary, please. Because we need him. And they're headed to Utgard Castle. Now, is that the main castle? Because this leads to the Krista stuff I want to talk about. Or is this like another castle? Because we got the castle. Or the Utgard, is that the castle that the scouts live in? Or
I think so.
I can't remember. I bet you it's in my notes, but who is going to scroll all the way up for that? Do you remember the first episode that they went to? Was it 15?
When Aaron went to that place?
For the first time. I think it was 15. Yeah, I don't have it here. I just have the scout headquarters is listed as a castle.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't put the name.
So I don't even know if they ever told us the name of it.
Oh my god. Petra argues with the guy who bites his tongue.
Oruo.
She has 10 kills and 48 assists. Odoru had 39 kills and 9 assists. Eld had 14 and 32. And Gunter had 7 and 40. And all of them are dead.
Mm-hmm.
That's a damn shame. Okay. Anyway, so I'm not sure where they're headed, but they're headed off in different directions because of information that Sasha, when she arrived, she's like, I had to go to Erwin, who then told me to come to y'all, right? And the priest, who after they show him all of the people who've been like displaced because of this latest quote unquote breach, he's still like, look, I can't tell you anything. Like, I took an oath. And if you get another priest, they're not going to tell you anything because we took an oath. He goes, all I can tell you is that the church wants us to watch a certain someone, like monitor them. And they are a member of your core unit. And I just have their name. So they don't tell us who it is, but it's Krista, right? And this is when, while they're out searching for the breach, we learn more about Amir and Krista. So we learned that Amir dropped out to give Krista a place in the top 10. Because remember, we were like, how the fuck she make the top 10?
Yeah.
Because they don't really show us a lot about her. Like, we don't know what she's good at, like what her, where her strengths are. That would make sense that she would crack the top 10. She was just there. But now we learn that Amir purposely gave her spot, and then she only chose scouts because, for whatever reason, that's what Krista chose. And she's like watching out for her, and she's like, why are you doing that? Please tell me you're not doing it for some other reason, like you're trying to protect me. Why? Like, basically, like, don't die for me. Like, what are you doing? And she's like, or unless it's because of my family. And Amir is like, nope, I'm really just looking out for, well, no, she basically makes it seem like when she says, I'm just looking out for me, and then Krista's like, good, I'm glad. I couldn't tell if, well, first of all, Amir does care about Krista, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that's genuine, right? So everything she's saying here is a lie. Mm-hmm. But what I couldn't figure out, the fact that Krista said because of my family, that implies that she thinks or she knows that Amir knows who her family is, right? She either thinks it or she knows it. For her to say that, right? If you say that, a person who doesn't know who your family is probably going to be like, who the fuck is your family, right? But she didn't say that. So I can't tell, was she fishing to see if she's... Okay, basically my theory is that Krista is some sort of princess or like a child of one of those dukes or whatever, right? If not somebody way higher. And I took it as her being like, does she know who I am? Is this why she's... Because nobody's really nice to me unless they have to be, right? Or they're scared of my family. Like, that type of thing. And so when she was like, is it because of my family? And she says, don't worry, I'm just looking out for number one. I couldn't tell if Amir was then saying, yeah, I know who you are. Don't worry. I'm just doing this because that's what I'm supposed to... It's my job. Because
if I remember correctly, Amir said, like, after Krista was like, are you doing this for my family? Amir said, sure. Like... She was just like that's like somehow the easier explanation for what she's really she's really doing
and
it.
So and saying that when she says, don't worry, I'm just looking out for me, she's basically saying, yeah, I'm doing this because you're rich and famous or whatever. Yeah. And that benefits me. Because that goes back to her saying that you do things for people so they owe you shit later. Mm-hmm. Do you know who Krista is?
Yeah. Not exactly, but I know how important she is.
You know who her daddy is, who her mama is.
I don't know her, like, her exact family. Like, I don't know exactly who she is, but I know vaguely
why she's important. And it's the church that wants them to keep an eye on her, right? Mm-hmm. And now we don't know a lot about this monarchy. It's a king, right? Yeah. And how do the church and the king get along? Because a lot of times through history, there's like, either they're at odds or basically the church is really running the shit because they control the monarchy. Like, I'm not sure what we're getting here. Like, is the monarchy also a bunch of wall cultists or what? Okay. Oh my God. Is Krista? No, because that's stupid.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say, is she like one of the wall ladies?
Oh. I don't know. She could be.
Is she really Maria? Okay. Yeah, and then we kind of talked about this. It's like, why does Hanji assume that Eren can harden? The church is monitoring Krista. Sasha went to Erwin and then to Hanji. And okay, so when they learn who the person is that has to be monitored, we don't see that. When it comes back, they're talking about the aftermath of it, and they're like, it's the one that's always hanging around Amir. And when Hanji hears that name, she's like, or they're like, what did you just say? Mm-hmm. So was it Amir's name that got their attention, or was it just the tail end of all the information about Krista? Because I thought they were reacting to Amir's name.
When was Amir's name mentioned?
When the priest tells them Krista's name.
Around Amir.
Yes. It cuts away, so we never hear them say Krista's name, but when they come back and Armin's like, she's actually lovely. And then I think it's Mikasa who says, she's the one always hanging around with Amir. Mm. And then that's when Hanji is like, what did you just say? Like, it was that name. Now, This goes back to um hold on a second. All right, we kind of just talked about this. Underworld, we're almost done. Underworld building. I have why would the church know and not the crown? Because I'm just trying to figure out if the church and the crown are connected. The
Mm.
crown has to know about Titans in the wall, right? Because they're saying the church is the only one who knows. Like if you look at the little information cards, like that goes by too fast, they're like the church they know about the Titans in the wall, but they are being wholly uncooperative or something like that and giving information. And that just feels like something like, okay, but how does the crown stand? Like, does the crown? It feels like they would have to. So it feels like the church and the crown might be kind of one and the same, like lock and step. I don't know. Finally, so when they are hunkered down in that abandoned castle, Reiner and them, and like Krista's dozing off, and there is something in Reiner's hand, and he's like, Ymir, you can read something. Like he doesn't get to finish. And then he says, do you? And then they're cut off because they spot the Titans. What the fuck? What can she read? Is it like some ancient language? Is it like a Titan language? Are you listening to me?
Yeah, I just can't say anything because I know.
Oh, you do know.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I thought you were gonna start speculating with me. I hate you.
Sorry, not this time.
Okay, the thing with Connie's mom, though.
Oh my god.
Did you notice that she waited till they walked away and she was like, "Welcome home, son." Or she just said, "Welcome home." But she waited until they walked away, right?
Mm-hmm.
To say it to him. Now, who was the motherfucker that walked up and tried to gaslight him? Who was it?
It was Reiner.
Thank you. Reiner's like, you ain't hear shit. I didn't hear shit. You heard it.
It really did seem like that he did hear it and he was just in denial.
Yes, right? It was super sus, but also I'm sus of him, so. Alright.
This is
Go ahead. I'm gonna pull up the feedback.
Did I tell you this is the scene that I've been looking forward to? When I read in the manga and I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like looking forward to see how they'd animated the scene of that Titan talking.
No.
And Connie hearing his mom's voice. Because, you know, obviously it's in a manga, so it's like he's just walking away and you just see the speech bubble, not even like on the Titan. It's just like, I think like the way they did it in the manga, it was just like an image of Connie walking away with the speech bubble next to him saying welcome home or something like that. And he turns around and looks at the Titan and it's like, did that? Because like when you're reading it from the manga, it's like, did that even come from the Titan? Like who said that?
Right.
So it's not as clear. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So you're just kind of left to speculate.
Yeah, I'd have died.
I really wanted to see how they did in the anime, so I'm satisfied.
And I think it's like, I don't know, I feel like there was like another part where he was trying to like talk about it, and or maybe that was it. Maybe I'm confusing that. And Reiner was just like, yeah, it was Reiner. He was like, I didn't hear shit. It's like, all right, feds, I'll believe anything you say. All right. You know what? I wish there was a way. Hold on. There is. Boom. So I could bring up this faster. Season 2, Episode 8. Can't read that. Season 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Shalita says, hi, guys. Can't wait to hear y'all discuss the new Titan introduced and the plot thickens. How did those Titans get past the wall? Because they didn't. Already. Episode 1. Neither Misha nor his horse deserve that shit. That poor horse is just minding his little horse business. Coming to pick up his owner. And next thing you know, he get gripped up. Them horses. Oh, and that was another thing that was suspicious about Connie's village, right? Is that there was no carnage. Like, the houses were broken into with nobody in. But the horses were still there. Yeah, so they were like, even if they left on their own, like, and evacuated before the Titans showed up, like, why wouldn't they take their horses? She says that was just cold-blooded. Giant gorilla Titan starts talking. Folks ain't exactly going to be good for conversation. Poor Miche was shook. He was. I felt so bad. I cannot believe they killed the character I liked. Okay. I mean, that's all they've been doing, but you know what I mean. Plus, that furry Titan can control the other ones. That's a game changer. Episode 2, Sasha is that chick. I love her, and I feel her with the food. She took on that Titan without her weapons and saved that poor traumatized little girl. And she made her daddy proud. Aw. Yeah, she did. He was so proud of her. Episode 3, poor Connie. That's got to be devastating. Where is his family? Do you think he was hearing things, or did that Titan really speak to him? That was his mama. Hanji and Armin are geniuses. Definitely the brain trust. What do you think Pastor Nick's revelation means? Oh, yeah, that's his name. Thank you. And does Erin even know how to do the gardening thing? No.
Gardening thing?
I think she meant hardening.
I thought you just misread it and said gardening. I was about to make fun of you, but never mind.
See how it is. Sucks to be the group in the castle. They're surrounded. The others better hurry up because they're trapped. I can't wait to listen to this podcast. Listen, I can't wait to watch. When we're done doing this, I'm going to go take a shower so I look somewhat decent on camera and before record the next ones. All right, hold on. Let me just go through. All right, this is so weird, but I'm just going to read it because... Oh, you know what it is? Here we go. So if the same person leaves feedback... Like, if Kimberly leaves feedback for season 2, episode 1, I'll get an email notification for it. If she comes back later on the same post and leaves feedback for another episode, I'll get an email notification for it, but it nests all the emails together. So I don't think there's a possibility that maybe you guys have, let's see, how many emails was in that one? So there's 5 in this one. Okay, yeah, I'll just have to skip through. Okay, so Kimberly says for season 2, episode 1, hello Nina and Kaylee. I am posting this here because I don't see a season 2 thread. Okay, so this is an old post. So season 2, really Netflix, you gonna do us dirty like that? I know, we're watching it on Funimation. How are you watching it? Begins with an excellent recap of season 1 and then takes us right where we left off. Like, yeah, you would definitely need that recap if you were watching live. We didn't. You know, like you binging, you're just like going right into it. But so many years between those seasons, I could imagine.
Like 3 to 4 years.
There's a Titan in the wall. There's a Titan in the wall. That's what she said. This episode confirms that far too many of those in power are often instrumental in orchestrating the destruction of the very people they're supposed to serve. Yup. A talking simian, horse-killing Titan that engages in conversation with people and instructs the abnormals to kill. Ain't that a bitch? Listen, I was not prepared. For episode 2, she says, I really like this Sasha-centric episode. Best question of the episode. How did the tiny limb Titan get here? Wait, what? Did somebody ask that question? I didn't get that. Did somebody ask about the tiny limb Titan? Is that the little... Also, was that a child? Nah.
The tiny limb Titan is Connie's mom. The one that was on the
that's what she... Like, the skinny... Oh, I thought it meant, like, short-limbed and not, like, skinny. I don't know. I thought it meant, like, that little one. The one that started to eat Miche and then he, like...
Yeah, the big eyes and big nose.
Yeah, and the Beast Titan squeezed his eye out, remember?
Yeah.
And then for episode 3, yeah, this is where I have to stop, I think. Hold on. Episode 2. Okay, I don't want to, like, miss people's feedback. Okay, so for episode 3, she says, Hanji's interactions with Pastor Nick highlights why the yelling on the show stands out. The yellers are always screaming at people who are talking to them using a reasonable, not in the condescending, I'm getting off on you yelling. Yeah, tone. I get that Pastor Nick is the antagonist in that scene, but the yellers communicate in that fashion regardless of who they're talking to. Kong Titan makes another appearance. Well, we also learned that the walls are made of hardened Titan skin, and Eren needs to get on the ball with elevating his Titan game. Listen, I've been saying for episodes now, train him. Can we train him, please? All right. Do you have anything else while I check for one last bit of feedback?
I want to watch the next episodes.
Me
too. Are we watching 3 episodes next or just 2?
I think it's 3. I gotta go check. I'll check in a second. Give me a second. I just want to make sure there's no feedback that I missed. And I'm going to like all of these things that I already read. Yeah, she says hardening, not gardening. Stupid typo. 25262728. Okay, yeah, I can't read any more of those. All right, that's it. I am going to take a shower
Mhm.
and get presentable to get on camera, and then we can watch the next three.
Yay.
Yay! Okay, thank you guys for listening. This week we have a few good things coming up as we continue to prep for getting ahead of the game for the new tier. We have a lot of money heists coming up this week. We have Motherland Fort Salem, the back half of season 1, and of course, more Attack on Titan for you guys. Yay! All right, thank you guys for listening. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye bye.